You need new tires before winter. Do it before winter. Don't do it in the spring because you might have an accident because you don't have any traction. Keep an eye on your tires. They're going to fluctuate just like the air outside fluctuates. You're going to want to check them. And you know, a lot of people don't understand what they should have them set at. They don't know. And the manufacturers have a label in the door of the driver's door. It's got the VIN number and all that and the paint codes. There's a PSI in there, and then it'll have the recommended settings of what they want your tires set at. Generally, I see around 32 to 35 on our car and trucks here. But we have some people come in and they'll have 50 pounds of air in it because it looked low, so they just added some air in it. So that could cause problems too. So you kind of want to know where you're at when you add the air. But that warning light, as far as Ford goes, they only have to be off 3 pounds from another tire. So they have their range of what they need to be set in. And one tire could just be 4 pounds low. And you might panic and think, oh no, I've got a flat tire. It's not, it's just a little, they just fluctuated a little bit. So they're kind of sensitive that way, but you'll still want to keep an eye on it. You never know. I mean, anything can fail. The all-season tires can be run year-round. The winter, the snow and ice tires is what I call them. That's what I run. My kids all run them. They have more grip in the tread. You can stop on the ice. Four-wheel drive, you can't stop on ice. It's just to get you moving. And then you can get going. So when you're sitting at a stop sign and you're spinning, you might have four-wheel drive, but you're still spinning. You don't have that as much with the snow and ice tires. And then also another thing that I notice is, say you're going down the road and you feel it pulling, like pulling towards the ditch and you're barely moving and you're still pulling it, you kind of eliminate that with those snow and ice tires. So after you have snow and ice tires, it's definitely something you're not want to get rid of. And I feel more comfortable putting my kids on the road with those. And then in the first part of April, we just put the other tires back on, the summer tires, the all-season tires, and then come first snow, we put the winter tires on. So we have 2 sets of tires for every car in my home. Some people have 2 sets of rims. They just have it mounted, the snow tires mounted on the rim. So we just pop them on. It takes 10 minutes. And some people don't want to spend the money and have an extra set of rims, so we just unmount the tire and then mount it on the original rim. So we can do it either way. We don't store the tires here for the customer. They'd have to take them home, but yeah, no, it's definitely, if you have the money to do it, I think it would be very, very, very beneficial. If it saved you one accident, it's worth it. So the big thing is always want to have fresh oil in there. If you do it yourself, that's fine. Just make sure you're checking everything over. Checking your coolant is a big one. You want to make sure it's in the right range. If it's not good enough, it'll freeze up. We do all those here. We check the coolant, obviously change the oil, and then windshield wipers is another one. Go ahead and put new wipers on. You get that ice buildup, and it's really hard to get that cleared off. So, and then your battery. If you have a battery, there's a date on the battery. If it's over 5 years old, you might think about just replacing it. Might save you a headache later down the road. So the oil and the gas working together, you can flood it pretty easily. Okay. So if you're going to let it idle, you're going to let it warm up. If you don't drive it right away and just shut it off, change your mind. It might flood when you go to start it the next time. So yeah, we recommend always, even if you just go around town, go out of town and back. That'll be it. Enough. The ethanol fuel. A lot of people think that the moisture is already taken out of that ethanol fuel. It's not. It's actually usually a little bit more moisture in the ethanol. So if you're running ethanol, which is fine, you're going to want to put a fuel additive in there to get that moisture out. So like a heat or a seafoam, every time you fill it, you're going to want to put a little bit. You'll just have to read the bottle of what you buy, and that'll get you going, so you don't have any problems later on down the road. One thing, I guess, with Iowa roads, the brine that they use pretty much eats your cars. If you see some of these newer cars that are all rusty, that's the wonderful brine from the roads that we have here. So one thing you can kind of do to help protect your car is you're going to want to keep it clean. If you're out on the interstate and you're following the plow truck that's throwing brine, you're going to want to wash the car when you get done. Try and get underneath and in the wheel wells, and the big thing is if you can get it waxed before winter, get it cleaned up and have it waxed. If you can't wax it yourself, take it somewhere, they'll wax it for you. That'll put a little bit of protection on your vehicle, but keep it clean. And then I would recommend having a safety kit, jumper cables, that kind of thing in your car, ice scraper, and then keep an extra bottle of that fuel additive in there. So if it's starting to miss or a little bit, you notice something after you fill up with gas, you can throw that in there. I really push those snow and ice tires. One accident, one accident that they could save you is worth the tires. So.
It's that time of year. Do you got all your gear? Ice scrapers, jumper cables, gas treatment, tire gauges. Hop in the car, off we go. Last minute gifts we shall find. Hats and gloves, hunting gear, knickknacks and more. Find it all at the Ginger Snap in Union.